What is going on, Cowboy Nation, and everybody else tuning in to see what the reaction is from the Dallas Cowboy fans? Because, of course, 30 years in the making, we finally break some history in so many different directions. You can't count them all in one finger. But the one thing I can count on is, of course, my Game Time host, of course, Game Time Bryan. What's going on, man?
What's up, Phil? What is up, people? We are coming off a win. How is everybody feeling tonight?
Oh, I think I'm with everybody else in saying that you walk into work with a little bit of a strut, and there's always some people that are going to tell you, this and that about the team that you're facing. But either way, playoff teams are in front of you. This could have always be, something that we're bitching about, but we aren't. We are talking about how the Dallas Cowboys got it done. They did not play down to the competition. They did what they needed to do and took care of business, man.
We stole that O, man. He is not 7-0 against the Cowboys anymore. Sorry, Tom. We had to give you the one. You are now 7-1. It's still a good record, but you ain't going undefeated, big man. As
of right now, the Dallas Cowboys are 1-0 versus Tom Brady in the playoffs, and that's some stat that we can jump on. That.
Good call. That's actually a good call. It's all like with all the talk about him, he's never played us in the playoffs. Obviously, he was in the AFC.
Yep.
Regardless, we are 1-0 against him in the playoffs.
So
I want to know.
What's up?
Is anybody hearing shit about that we beat a bad team or 8-9 team? I didn't hear a lot of that, but I thought I would.
It was one of the first things I saw in some of the chats and stuff. Oh, there's always some person that likes to that they. I think it's funny because they literally get up at like 6 in the morning, 5, whatever time that you're getting up and getting ready for work. You're putting on maybe the Tolo type of show, and so you got people talking in there, and you're just like, man, you are coming into a Cowboy chat at this early in the morning just to because you don't feel good about us feeling good, So it's amazing how they get off on that stuff. But I know the one thing that I'm very happy about is that the Cowboys took care of business. I think the first thing you got to talk about is, of course, Dak Prescott's performance. He had the little monkey on his back in some ways. I mean, I think I've heard
Dak hat for Dakton.
I think I've heard people talk about the fact that Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks in the history have been judged by the amount of Super Bowls they're able to provide.
Unfortunately, us Cowboy fans, it's a higher standard here. We don't just like regular season wins mean nothing.
Nope, they do. No, they don't. It was nice during that season. I remember how that felt. But it's kind of like one of those things. It's like they tell you, and I'm going to get a little gloomy here, but what do they say? When you pass away, people won't remember what you said or did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And so I know for a fact that during those times, I felt a lot of disappointment. As good as those seasons were, I felt disappointment within them because of the heartbreak with a 13-3 type of season. And so we've all been there. We've done that. Push that to the side now.
Yeah. I feel like, listen, I'm not going to jinx this. I don't know. I think I have a good feel of the team. They're going to come out good. I'm not going to get into too much of the game, but just I feel like they broke the seal. And,
I agree.
Like
momentum.
McCarthy said, they have that feeling of we can get it done.
Yeah, momentum went to the DMV and changed its address. So we're like,
it was only 24 hours leading up to the game. It was all the pressures on Dak because it was the weight of the world was on Dak.
Yeah. Yes.
Brady, you can't say he was limping in. He had an unbelievable game,
and he had a lot of people that were healthy going in there. And we pointed that out. They were healthy. Now, I mean, obviously,
Mike
both teams
Evans ran his mouth. Mm-hmm. It was just, it was weird because it's normally Brady's the one that uses these little things that other teams say about him to his advantage. But it seemed like it was Tampa who was throwing out the little lines, the little comments. And it just seemed like, and I think we could all agree that Washington loss, even though ugly and hard to watch, probably was the best thing for this team.
Yeah.
Because nobody gave him any chance.
Just like we're going into this next week, and I think just having that, resetting the tables where you can go. I mean, I'm not trying to jump ahead into the next broadcast or anything, but you got a San Francisco team that's 10 wins in a row. There's some stuff there where we're getting onto a momentum. So I'm feeling really good with the colliding time. Obviously if we had struggled, then I would be worried about this matchup, but I don't feel that way. We got, again, like they say, the revenge tour is continuing. And right now was the first one, and that was a big one. And you wonder, okay, well, maybe the Cowboys are going to, because it was a big game, they're going to kind of let themselves down. No, they take it personal because this is the team that eliminated them last year. So they're still going to be woke. So that's what I feel like. I'm like, okay, so they don't get too high on that, and they'll just focus on. So, there's a lot. There's a revenge tour happening. We talked about it. Games and games before the season ends, and that's kind of the path that's been paved here. So I'm really liking it. I like there's hardly anything to bitch about. I think the one thing we'll bitch about before we start giving praise for the rest of the team is, of course, Brett Maher. That's
Brett.
That's a big one. I mean, the confidence.
Well, here's what I'll say about Brett. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. I wrote this down. I heard Dak actually say this. So, not to us, but from inside. Dak arguably played his worst game of we know of the season, possibly his career against Washington. Okay, and I understand he's a QB, but we didn't bench him or anything. Maher, who set team records, at the very least deserves
the chance to get out of it,
Yes. We can't just, it's not fair to him. We won the game. It wasn't close. So Dak did say that. He goes, he's emotional. Like we all are.
Yeah, we all are.
Sure, we were all saying, he ain't going to miss this one. Oh, Jesus, he missed another one. It is what it is. It's one of those things. He made the last one. Like he's the same guy who made four over 50-yard field goals in the same game, and he set a record for that. So let's give him a pass. I know it's tough, but we got to give him a pass. Let's get to the chat. I just want to bring up James Brooks.
There's a lot of
good touch on everybody else.
Yeah, Cowboys Mafia, Rhonda, Joe.
Yeah, you got. Can anyone tell
Gina
me what?
Dallas Diva.
Yeah, that's Gina Thorne, Incognito. James Nooks said, because he had a good comment earlier. Can anyone tell me what signature win did San Francisco have this year? Tampa Bay, Seattle, Miami. Someone tell me. Which is true. Just remember this: the Chiefs put 40 points up against the 49ers.
Well, remember they also almost lost to the Raiders,
and the Falcons beat them.
Yeah.
So
it is there.
Anyway, get to some of these people. What up, Mark Hutchinson? Yeah, thanks for the comment on YouTube, buddy. I really appreciate it.
No, and we got a great cat. You got Queen Bella, of course, in here. Glimmer Man holding it down. Yeah, Twizdiga, which he was
I know
he was very close to the score there, and he's the resident
neighbor.
Eagle fan there. Mike Aldana, of course, is in here.
Nah,
James
he don't live
Nook.
around here. That's right.
But no, I mean, Angelica, of course, holding it down. I appreciate the retweet, always helping us out in the on the Twitter world, and then that's where she drops most of her knowledge as well too. But when I look at this game overall, I even have to give compliments to Kellen Moore because he called a really good game. I mean, in the beginning, the first the 2 3 and outs, it's kind of the frustration there. You're like, okay, so is it the receivers that are going to just start dropping things? How is this going to be? But I liked what he was trying to do. He was trying to get Dak into a rhythm. And you can see, I think you saw some commentators make comments about it, but it did seem like on both sides the game was happening really fast. It really was able to slow down for Dak, and he was hitting his guys. I mean, he was hitting some beautiful passes. Like they had a beautiful pass to Schultz that he bobbled a little bit. I mean, they were gorgeous, gorgeous passes.
Yeah. Well, CeeDee Lamb said something, and he was right. He said last week, leading into the game, that they're going to be able to flip the switch. And my God, did they not flip the switch. That was about as convincing of a win since the Minnesota Vikings game, make no mistake, that 14 points, very hollow. That, yeah, Brady's yardage was very hollow. We threw the ball over 60 times. We shut down the run. We made Brady, all of a sudden, everybody's saying, well, we played so good against Brady. Okay. Now all of a sudden it's Brady just had a horrible game. There's a reason why he had a horrible game, people.
Yep.
It's the defense dictated. He's too smart.
Well, they
were a step ahead of him.
If you look at it, what did we talk about going into the matchup? If the guys Osa Digizua, if these guys Hankins can push up the middle, Hankins gets a sack against Brady because of the amazing push that he had, just kind of holding there, waiting. Oh, I'll just knock this guy out of the side and get the sack. So these guys needed to get pressure up the middle very early in order to get Tom to off his rhythm. Kind of he starts throwing it back, kind of complaining about things, and so that's where you saw very early, and that was the reason why he wasn't having a great game. It wasn't because he just came in there and it was just from the moment that he was practicing, the throws were off. No, that wasn't the case. It was what the Cowboys defense was doing. There was a lot of different schemes, both offensively and defensively, that I saw. And I think the biggest thing that I saw that I want to definitely talk about, I want to get your comments on, is we talked about this corner position in the number 2. It was like, who is going to fill that spot going into it? You didn't see Israel Mukwamu doing too much through the season other than in training camp and everything.
Like that, dude. That was wonderful.
Man, he was balling. He was balling. He was in the slot. He was on the outside.
Snaps in the slot. But he had, so all of a sudden, it obviously we were hiding stuff. We were definitely saving stuff. We even did something I've been calling for a long time, almost like the Bill Belichick, where every week like in this day and age, you just can't say, well, we run this defense and you got to beat it. You can't do that anymore. You have to change weekly. I had sent Phil a text about who our inactives were. We, Gallimore, Bohanna, Nashawn Wright. I was very surprised and a little scared because that many changes going into a playoff game, but they knew what personnel was going to work. And he had a game plan for the first half. This is Dan Quinn. And he had a game plan for the second half. That's impressive, man. That's impressive. You just can't say, well, we're a 4-3 and this is what we do and we're going to stick to it. No, you got to change. You got to change and try and take away what the other team's good at. So I was very happy with that.
I'm sorry. I'm entertained by the comments of some of these guys. But when I look at that defensive scheme, I mean, I saw, there was a lot of the rotation was a little different. They were moving Micah around, kind of not letting him, just have to, okay, you're going to come from the side. And you saw right off the bat that, okay, they're going to run the ball with Fournette. Now, remember, Fournette got a little cheap shot on Micah in the beginning of the season. And so you could see that there was definitely some fire there in that first tackle. And I think it really set the tone for the rest of the defense kind of doing their thing as well, too. So you saw a lot of guys. Yeah. There were some injury possibilities that were kind of scary. Obviously, Kerr's kind of holding his knee, but he said he was good. Kind of had a little limp. You had, of course, Jason Peterson, which James Nook was mentioning that he most likely won't play this Sunday, which, I mean, when you saw him come out of the rotation, the hip injury there, we'll see. You heard that he was walking around. But yeah, you never know with those things. Well, but at the same time, they did their thing. That offensive line looked really good against a good defensive line.
Shout out to Tyler Smith. My God, people don't, not you guys, but in general, people don't know how hard it is to start a game at one position and then move and excel at another. Yeah, I'm sure all week they were saying, don't let number 50, get to Dak. Stay contained. Yeah, and all of a sudden you're being kicked out the left tackle, and it's a totally different mindset. And he excelled at both. Shout out to Tyler Smith. That's just another example that they hit. I think it's fair to say at this point, can we say now, that they hit a home run with that first round pick? Yeah. If not a home run, they hit a triple. Yeah. It's just, come on, man. That doesn't happen, especially where they were drafting in the 20s. Got to give them credit, man. We got to give them credit. That was very impressive what they did. That was a thorough beating.
Yeah, and a lot of the times what happens in the past, they played Brady, they have never taken away that underneath game. It's always been, I mean, that's his bread and butter, and they just like, okay, we're just going to ignore that. But no, they were sitting on those slants. They were really attacking them. I mean, obviously double moves would have definitely helped in that sense, but that's not what Tampa does because of Tom Brady. You know, they'll get you going, but you have somebody over the top that can cover as well. So, I mean, when I look at Bland, for example, when he gave up that touchdown, that is just an incredible pass to Julio Jones. I mean, there was nothing Bland was going to do. He was thinking that he was going to have the safety coverage, but the tight end or wide receiver dragged that safety. The safety kind of had to make a decision on whether he was going to stay with that other. But as soon as he threw it, obviously, that's when the safety goes over to help. And, just hits a beautiful pass. So I still loved what Bland was doing. And Trayvon Diggs, of course, there were moments that he kind of, like, okay, what's Trayvon doing? We don't pay him to tackle, and you can definitely tell sometimes. But I mean, he snapped back out of it, and then he kind of just shut Evans down. And so, I mean, you got to give them props that they did an amazing job. And it's playoff football. That's all I can say. It's playoff football. The hits are a little bit harder. The defense is gotten a little bit tighter, and that's what you're hoping with Dan Quinn is that he just didn't lose it, And so it's nice to see him scheming people open. And again, that stuff is like trickling a little bit to the offense because you obviously saw. Let's talk about a little bit about the offense. We'll go on the switch on the other side. What did you think about the running game?
Yeah, and of course you had people running their mouth about Zeke. Zeke did what Zeke always does. I mean, some days are better than others, but the first couple of series where I was concerned, it was like 3 and out, and we weren't getting nowhere. But that's all they have is that interior. They don't have any pass rush, but. You saw what I think what needs to happen. I think Pollard needs to start the game if you want to get off to a faster start. Pollard looked real good again, and Zeke was physical, and Zeke was awesome. If you notice, they usually bring Zeke in on the play action stuff, or you have to have that. Yeah, I mean, sorry, but people don't. It's not very flashy, but
no, it's going to be. It has its moments, and trust me, I definitely love the 1-2 punch, because one's a little haymaker, the other one's kind of coming in with some power, and that's what you're going to need against a team like San Francisco. I mean, there is a reason why we drafted Sam Williams. There's a reason why we drafted Tyler Smith. Yeah. There's a reason why we kept Zeke. We want to be physical, and this is a team that is very physical. Even guys that whiff on tackles like Anthony Barr is still a physical linebacker. So Damone Clark, I get excited about him.
Anthony Barr had a good game.
There were some moments here there, but yes, everybody had their certain moment. But for the most part, it was very nicely. They complemented each other. So if somebody did kind of blow it here, it definitely somebody else was making up for it. So I love it.
I'll tell you one thing, and if we're on the offense right now, I got a couple guys here. Michael Gallup. I had called it going into the game. I said, I just really thought Michael Gallup was going to have a huge game. I think it's fair to say, maybe not 100%, but he's getting close. It's not so much Gallup as I think it is Kellen Moore and Dak as a combo. They need to get the ball to these guys. They have to get it to him. They obviously didn't respect Gallup, and Gallup burned their ass all night. So Michael Gallup, I'm sure it made a lot of people happy. It made me feel happy. It's like, yeah, okay, that's the Gallup I remember, and that's the Gallup that we're going to need going forward, especially in San Fran. Yeah. But this next guy, Dalton Schultz, he made himself some money last night. He made himself some money because I was watching the game and I told my son, I'm like, listen, they need to start getting the damn tight ends involved. And don't you know, it was an explosion. So, what are your thoughts on Dalton Schultz and our boy Jake Ferguson? He made himself some money last night.
Yeah, you know how I've been. I love our young tight ends, and I'm like, okay, I really like the fact that okay, we have a future going forward, and of course I don't want to pay him as much because I want to put that money towards Tony. But you look at how comfortable Dak feels with him, and I just don't want to be gashed by him on the opposite side. As much as there's moments where he has with his blocking, he is good for this football team in general. He helps that offense. I mean, we know chemistry when it comes to quarterbacks and wide receivers. We saw what happened when Cooper Rush was in there, and Schultz. You just saw him disappear, and it had nothing to do, again, with Schultz. It had everything to do with that connection. Just like Noah Brown. Noah Brown, all of a sudden, one of the first big plays, boom, by Rush was a big play to Noah Brown. So they had that chemistry. Yeah. But at the moment that Dak came back, boom, Schultz, stock skyrocketed again. But I like the fact that because of these younger...
Yeah.
But I like the fact that because of these young guys, he feels like, hey, I need to also block as well. I can't just get by with just the pass game and everything. Otherwise, I'm not going to be in there most of the time because nobody's gonna believe I'm blocking if I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So
that's the only thing that still bothers me.
But
they try and run that or him trying to block.
But he's done better. He's definitely elevated his game.
He's better.
And
normally there's a holding ball.
He balled. He balled yesterday.
He did. I'm not here to complain about Schultz blocking, but why we're using him? I guess you know what it is. It's probably because the other team knows as well that Ferguson is in. There's more of a chance to go run that way. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, he had a great game. Made himself some money. Didn't want to be interviewed after the game.
I like that.
Which is curious.
It's just one of those probably like he takes things a little bit more personal, and so he's like, if you don't want to interview me during the bad days, you don't get to do it during the good day. I don't know what his whole deal is. Sometimes maybe he just wanted to give other people attention. You don't know whether it's good or bad. It's just you got to kind of take it as your narrative. But you got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was just trying to give everybody else their spotlight. But man, he's definitely good for Dak. I can honestly say that. And I think that's the reason why, if anything...
It really makes you second guess whether you want to get rid of him.
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
Yeah, that performance...
You saw when nothing else was working, he went to him.
Okay, so I want to talk about the other defensive guy on our... You got two new guys in our defensive backfield called Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I have to give them credit for the interception by Jaron Kearse, because I don't know if you're listening to the broadcast. As soon as they started bringing up all those facts, I looked over and I was like, "Oh, here it goes. This is what's going to happen because this is called the broadcast." Right? And boom, and that's exactly. And I was like, "That's Joe Buck and that's Troy Aikman. That's more Joe Buck than anything."
Well, that throw alone showed you. He tried to throw it out of the end.
Was it because he just kind of turned his body?
He did, but he was on his back foot, and that just goes to show you his age. In order for Brady to be Brady of old, he needs to have his weight, everything, his mechanics. He needs that. He needs to step up. We didn't allow Brady to step up in the pocket.
Yep, that's
true.
He
may have been able to roll out. He may have been able to fling it.
That amazing juke play that he did.
Step up. Oh yeah. I know.
I was like, is he gonna? What is it? Like it's look like an old person kind of falling.
Dude. And people are like, wow, he's off. It's not so much that he's off because when he's expected to see something.
Yeah, he doesn't have time.
Well, he's expected to see a certain look, and that was the thing. They wanted to have every throw contested. That doesn't mean that you're going to get 9 sacks. That means you're going to be breakthrough and you're going to be hunting him. So you have to get it, the ball out off time. He wasn't on time. Like Dak was on time. But Brady, he wasn't on time. He had to give it the ball really before he wanted. And the times he had time, we were locking him down. We were locking them receivers down. Mm-hmm. So we knew Godwin was going to have a lot of catches. Yeah. Now, the reason why he had 10 catches for only 80-some yards, I think, 90-some, was because he threw the ball over 60 times. Well, that's why. I mean, it was impressive. But let's go over Dak's numbers, man. Dak, 25 for 33, 305 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. He also rushed the ball, which is what I told you he was going to have to do in the playoffs in order for this team to be successful. And that just tells me he knew it. He was saving himself for the playoffs. That's probably smart. You can't do that week in and week out in the NFL, but you can do it for a 3-4 game stretch. So, shout out to Dak Prescott, man. He was on fire. That play he made when he went to the sideline and then flicked it back across his body, which is a no-no to somebody who came open in the end zone. That was impressive.
Well, when they rolled out, there was a fake to Zeke, and they rolled out, and it was a touch. Yeah. It was 4th down. And Schultz was wide open. I'm like, don't do it, like, because I did. It's like I did. You were wide open. I was like, and she goes, why didn't he throw it? I was like, because it's 4th down. You don't know if he just messes it up. Schultz drops it. You have a for sure touchdown if you just walk 3 more steps compared to passing it. So, yeah, I mean they were close to 4. They were close to 4 picks. I mean there were some times that. That there were some times that you were like, okay, LVE got himself into a position. David Jokes was pointing out that Brady was like, hey, next time, hang on to those interceptions, and that's going to be big. Again, those guys coming back, those 3 main guys that we were talking about, Biotish, made an impact on that offensive line. Everybody else kind of they looked really good. If you go back and you see it, you see a pocket for Dak Prescott. There's a couple of times that he had to roll out, but I like the fact that he's bringing that element back. He's running the ball. He feels comfortable within this offense. And, you saw other guys, in the weekend, for example, Daniel Jones, that was – it felt like with the Giants, it's more of a he has to run it or they're not going to, where they're, Dak is more of a, okay, you want to take that away? I'm going to run it. It's more of an option than it is a necessity. I think you're muted or something. Hey, you muted. Am it just me?
Yeah.
There you go.
How'd that happen?
I don't know, man. Shut your mouth. Stop talking. I don't know.
I'm hoping I haven't been muted.
No. Just when I was talking. So I could see you.
I didn't touch nothing.
I could see you.
Phil muted me.
Yeah. Shut your mouth.
Yeah. But Dak's QBR, which I'm not really a big stat guy, but hey, listen, everybody likes to throw stats against us when we don't do good, right? So I'm going to throw a stat out. Dak's QBR is like at a season high for quarterbacks, 96.5. And basically what that means is when Dak plays the way he played yesterday, you are 96.5% chance of winning. Every time you play. Now, is he going to play at that level? No, but if he plays near that level this week, we're going to win. So I'm just telling you, he was lights out, man. Everybody was calling for his head, and man, I mean, outside of the first couple of series, I mean, I think he was a little nervous, as well as all of us. But once he settled in, man.
Yeah, Brooklyn Joe brings up
player,
and I wanted to talk about this. Gallup's tiptoe was sweet. Even if he was out, he reestablished for the catch. And I think that's what people are catching. Well, he was out of bounds, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. He could have run over there, gave a high five. Yeah, I don't think so either. He could have ran over there, gave a high five to somebody in the crowd, ran back because that corner touched the ball. So he reestablished himself, got that touchdown, and the throw was so close, man. Like,
and a lot of people said that should have been intercepted. No, it was actually a perfect pass because if he threw it 4 inches to the outside, it would have been not a touchdown because he wouldn't have tipped it. Because the defender got his hand on it. As soon as he got his hand on it, it made it a legal catch. Now, I still don't think Gallup was out, but Gallup is unbelievable where his toes are on the ground, but his heel never touches. So
I agree. He galloped.
I mean,
He's
we
like
could
a horse.
assume, we could assume that he
how
he was out.
Yeah,
but you can't assume, right?
No, his awareness is ridiculous with that sideline.
And speaking of that, I thought the Julio touchdown at the end of the game, they just gave that to him way too quick. When he went to the ground, the ball was all over the place. So I think they were just felt bad for Tom Brady and they gave him the touchdown, but I really don't think that was a touchdown. Whatever. It is what it is. We were playing a pre-event by that point, but you know how that works. Gallup had a huge game, man. CD, it was nice. Ty had some very clutch catches early on. He had the drop.
Yeah.
But he did have a couple. Or
CD as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still liked it. I mean, I still like what CD was doing because he was drawing coverage. I think that's what a lot of people go, oh, he didn't have a catch. Well, what was he doing when he was on the field? I mean, you think he was just running around having conversation with guys like, hey, man, how was your family and stuff? He's going out and getting double covered by. They were pulling a safety to him. They were putting that corner on him. So if you're going to be a number one, that's what you got to kind of deal with, and that's okay because we have Gallup, we have other receivers that can, they can win those one-on-one battles. And I think what you were seeing a lot of is the fact that everybody likes to, Dak is not great at the zone. Well, not this year, man. And now he does have a receiving core.
He was 25 for 25 against the zone against Twiz and the Eagles. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's just a fact. He was. So
well, you have some receivers that also can, find the zone and kind of sit there. I mean, they're learning from these other guys that are coming in. So, you're seeing it from other guys that, that have been on this roster that haven't had that part to their game. And it's nice. It's just very nice to see. He's going through his reads very nicely when I talk to Dak. So, these receivers, they're definitely were, weirdly enough, they were getting separation, but I think it had to do more a little bit with the zone. But either way, they were great.
Dak got in a rhythm, and look, when Dak gets in a rhythm, he's as good as anybody out there. This is how he played a few times last year, which is why he was in the MVP leader for most of the season. People always forget it, but I'm here to remind you. My boy was the MVP leader throughout most of last year. Mm-hmm. It's a long year. Things happen, and he didn't win it. But, dude, I mean, look, we've seen this. But he did this. He had his best game in the biggest spotlight. I'm sorry, but that's what it's about, man. He balled out yesterday, and it couldn't happen to a better person taking as much crap as him. I'm just happy for him. I'm happy for Mike McCarthy. I had tweeted out I was very happy. That's my coach. Basically give him a break.
Him and his chain. I like his chain.
Yeah, I'm happy with Mike McCarthy. Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's what he said. He said he was caught between breakdancing and doing the gritty. So he was kind of in between.
He maybe invented his own thing. You just keep it up, people respect you for it. So do it on the sideline after a dance. Like that, you guarantee
the big thing about
Zeke, the next Zeke touchdown, he's going to be doing the mock game.
He might do that. Yeah, I was doing it bad. He's going to do that.
Well, see, I thought he was doing the Sanford and Son. That's what I thought he was doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's a terrible Sanford and Son.
No turnovers for Dak. That's the big thing.
George Jefferson. I'm sorry. That was it. Yeah, George Jefferson. That's what I was talking about.
George Jefferson. That's right, yeah.
But, I mean,
no turnovers for Dak. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I was seeing that one. I mean, you saw a catch here or there. It's nothing exciting. I think, again...
Browns are up to one.
I feel bad. Is he going to be like a Tyreek where like that guy would drop passes all the time and then he makes the most important catch of the whole season off the helmet for the Giants? Like, it's just like he's getting crap. So, I mean, even something like Joseph. I mean, when Joseph was going down for a punt, I was like, well, at least he did something right. Like, and I literally said that out loud when he was just getting a kick downfield and he like downed it at the 5. I was like, well, at least he did that one right.
Yeah.
And it's bad attitude to have.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. I want to give a shout out to one guy who never gets a lot of love. I think everybody is loving him now. Leighton Vander Esch. He had 9 solo tackles last night. That's just solo, just him. He was all over the field. Leighton Vander Esch is the real deal. He's stepped up, man. You see this defense when he's out there. We need to take it out. I mean, we need to give him, some credit. He played a hell of a game. Leighton Vander Esch. He's one of the stars of the game yesterday.
Well, I mean, you saw him hitting people in the running game. He was definitely all over. He put his fingerprints all over this thing. He batted some balls down, like 2 of them, that he had a chance for an interception. So I mean, he definitely
played defense, right?
yeah, exactly.
They couldn't catch the damn ball between him and Micah. Yeah.
But we had somebody in the comments earlier that pointed out that, Dak was doing a very good job. I keep going back. I'm all over the place because these are the moments that we're talking about.
All over the place. We're enjoying it. We don't have really a script. We're just throwing out shit, and that's good because there was a lot to love yesterday. So go ahead, Phil.
No, and I was just saying with Dak, I mean, he was spreading the ball
Yeah.
out. Like, in like the next after those first two drives, all those completions that he had in a row, there were 7 different receivers. So I mean, he was definitely spreading it. I like that because he's not force feeding it to anybody. He's reading what the defense is doing.
I
That
was
means he's
worried
reading.
early on because it seemed like he was throwing the ball high.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like Gallup, it jumps too early sometimes, but it really wasn't. It was just way up there. But he came down with the ball on the sideline.
Yeah.
So, but, just like, you remember, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you do on some level, but I remember Troy Aikman coming out. That's how great Troy was, whether we like him as an analyst or what. He said he was so nervous in the locker room, before the Super Bowl that he was throwing up. He was just so nervous. But you would never know it by the game. He was just, 52 to what, 17 or 13, whatever the hell it was. It was impressive. So, very impressive. You know who else had a good game? Donovan Wilson.
Oh my God, that's Wilson. You know what? Good call on that one because that was a guy that was forgetting, and he was just nailing people. Like I'm like, man, if you would have never been able to guess that this guy had health issues through the past couple of years because he is just slinging his body around with no abandonment of what he's gonna go through. It's like he has a little clause in his thing. If you get hurt, we'll pay you a bonus. And you're just like, let's do this. Like, so, I mean, he was nailing people. Like, the sideline catch, you're like, okay. And then all of a sudden, you just see the receiver stop.
Jeff.
And you're just like, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, Reaper, I think it says y'all think LVE is back to his rookie year. He was definitely haunting last night, so he was definitely the wolf. So he was the wolf man last night.
Yeah, Jalen was doing his thing.
Dog, Gina.
Jalen was doing his thing over in New York, so maybe there was something there. Something he had to like, hey, you can't be doing that. Okay, I see how it is. But yeah, Donovan is a dog, definitely.
I mean, I can't remember when we had these kind of safeties. I mean, that's why Vegas knows this is a talented football team. And if we ever put it together, you see what can happen. And we've done it twice this year where we put together a complete game. Yeah. That's about as complete a game as you're going to have against Tom Brady. That's not normal to make Tom Brady. It was so bad that people were saying, well, who would want Tom Brady on their team? Now, we could debate that, but he just didn't shit the bed and become a bad player overnight.
Yeah.
The defense made him that way. And it's not just because of sacks. We only had, 2 or 3 sacks? It was just there wasn't much. It's easy to sit, look at film and go, oh, he's wide open. Oh, he's wide open. There's people running at him. It's not that easy. He couldn't step up and get to half of this stuff.
No, and I agree with you in the sense that even when I was watching, because I knew we could get pressure, I was watching the very beginning because of, you talked about it, the matchup with Fournette. He's definitely a hard runner. If they can get him some wide open spaces for him to get, downhill, he's a hard guy to bring down. And so, but yeah, they definitely were shutting that down. I was watching the runs. There was a couple of things that, in plays in general that's going to get off because, it's a talented offense. But at the same time, man, I think you had a combination of what this defense was doing plus, just I don't know. It just sometimes, Mike Evans and Tom Brady looked like they just started playing together sometimes. And you saw that even with the wide open route that they have right before the half, they couldn't even get on the same page with that. So, I mean, it was just all over. These guys were all over the place. And so, and we talk about it. Yes, they're 8-9 team. There's going to people to discredit. They're a playoff team. So everybody's 0-0. Doesn't matter what the record was. Again, not too long ago, this team was a Super Bowl winning team. So, again, don't let them discredit what they have. We just beat a divisional champ on the road in a hostile environment. I mean, of course, Cowboy Nation, they tend to they can't.
We had a lot of people there.
They travel.
We were outnumbered.
Yeah, exactly. I saw it as well too. I saw the Red Sea kind of there. And go ahead.
Yeah, well, Climmerman says we made Brady so mad at the end he looked like he gave up. Brady's a passive-aggressive type of guy. If you saw him before the game, right before, he was yelling and screaming, and he was fired up. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like he was ho-hum because after the game, he's very nice and respectful. He will take your head. He will, slice your throat in a heartbeat on the football field. We took his will from him. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be overly dramatic, but we did. We took his will from him. He didn't have an answer. The only time he had an answer is when we called off the dogs and we're trying to keep everything in front of us, make them catch it, and tackle them and bounce. That was about as thorough of a beating as I've seen Brady have in a long time. I'm talking a whole 60 minutes worth.
Yeah.
There's been times where he's thrown pick sixes in the playoffs, but still
was driving it down the field most of those times when he would do those. So I mean, you knew the next drive that he was going to have, he was coming right back down the field and he was going to score, and he just didn't. You could feel that and I felt it in the beginning as well too. So I mean, those 3 and outs sucked, but I wasn't getting panicked because it just had a different feel to what the defense was doing, and I think there's a lot of exotic stuff that, again, Dan Quinn wasn't showing during the regular season, that he kind of switched it up, and I'm just hoping that you see that with each game that we'll be playing. Again, you can only deal with the people that are right in front of you, and this is going to be a tough matchup going forward, but. Oh man, I'm excited about it. It's not fear.
Early on, and we'll break it all down on Friday, people. We're going to do another Friday show, but we'll break it all down as far as what we think, predictions, and all that. But just early forecast, the line started out at, and I thought it would be higher. The Niners were favored by 4 and went down to 3.5. So basically, it's only 3.5. Listen. That's a Cowboy line all day, every day. You're telling me that the Niners are only a 3.5 point favorite? That's telling you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll, like I said, we'll touch on that later in the week. But if we play like we played yesterday, now I'm not. There's still more meat on the bone. It wasn't like we played a perfect game.
No.
You know what I mean? So if we play 90% of what we did last night, we're going to win. That's just a fact. We're going to win. So it's kind of cool that we're the last game. I'm sorry, people, but they always put the most popular, the most eyes on Sunday night, and that's where we're at, man. Sorry. Yeah, they put the sorry Twiz, but the Saturday games are normally the B side. But that's all right, But I mean, you got your hands full with the Giants, Twiz. So it'll be nice to watch the games on Saturday, especially Saturday night, and see who our potential opponent is if we can get the job done. Is it going to be tough? Yeah. But, like I said, we'll touch on it on Friday, but the early line, 3.5, was a little light for me.
Yeah.
It's just telling me that's good for us. That's real good for us.
I mean, you got to imagine the home field advantage. Those are the things that they factor in as well. And, I mean, hey, that's a very close game. We're the underdogs going in. They beat us last year. There's a revenge type of thing. So, yes, the formula is there for them to get upset about things, to take it personal, to study a little bit harder.
There's already a weight lifted, I feel like. You have to feel that the team feels that. I'm not saying they're going to play less, but they may be more looser. They got that win. Everybody's saying they haven't had a road win in 30 years. Not this team, but this poor team has to deal with the ineptitudes of the previous teams. But that's the way it works. People want to roll out numbers. It's been this, it's been that, it's been this, it's been 30 years since you won a road playoff game. Oh, well, we won a road playoff games in our blue. Stick it.
Yeah, now that's
blue
where
with the white pants.
That's where, again, the narrative will change when we go, oh, they haven't won 30 years in a white uniform. Like they'll throw it out there, man. So trust me, it's under certain degree weather, and like there's always that stat.
They always got a couch or something.
Oh yeah.
Jack Meeker has 3 NFC East teams in the divisional round. Yeah, and
that's a very big odds.
Been a fourth. Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool that happened. We're not the NFC least anymore, and I'm telling you, I was watching the Giants, man. They're actually playing well.
They looked good. They did. They looked really good.
And I'm happy for Danny Jones.
Yep.
I'm happy for him. I really am, because he took the brunt of it.
Yeah, I want them to pay him. I definitely all for that.
Yeah. So now we need to. Yeah, right. You just want them to give him all the money. Now we gotta. I mean, so now who do we root for? Like, do we root for the Giants or the Eagles? Obviously, we gotta root for the Giants, right? Because if we win, then we host the Giants in the championship game.
Yeah,
Do you believe that? If the Giants win and we win, we host in the championship game to go to the Super Bowl. You can't say we're looking that far ahead. That's one game.
Yeah, no, I just wasn't.
Let me ask the chat: who scares you more? Going to San Fran or going to Philly? And be honest.
San Francisco.
I would say this week.
Yeah, this week is more.
And this is what Phil said. He said he wants to play San Fran and get redemption, and then he wants to go. Dak always beats Philly. I mean, he's what 8-3 now against Philly.
You know, nothing against those. I mean, obviously with me, revenge against Tampa. When I said this, like what week 15, 14. I see, bam, we got San Francisco. Let's get some revenge on them, and then let's shut the Eagles up to go to the Super Bowl. So I mean, obviously that would be great for that. But I'm with you in the sense that what's right in front of us, and right now that's what's right in front of us. I like it.
But San Fran's won 10 in a row. If we beat San Fran, we beat the hottest team. We would beat the hottest team in the NFL. So we would be at such a high there. That's not guaranteeing us anything. But we'll see what happens with the Eagles. Now, I will say that Jalen Hurts is not on the injury report, and we'll touch more on that on Friday night. We'll dig deep into the injuries, and we'll know for the most part. But we know he's playing, so it should be interesting. I mean, if anybody saw the last game of the year, the Giants lost by 6 points with their backups and third stringers against Philly, who went out to win. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a little bit of pressure. Now, Eagles are going to come out hot.
And you know how it is beating a team 3 times in a season. We talk about this many times.
Yeah.
So that's the situation right there as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying there's a recipe
Colts
there.
Cowboys is in the house. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Cole? Pretty haven't played our defense. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, the rookie.
Could you imagine if you're Purdy? Imagine everybody said the pressure on Dak. Now I would say he's playing with house money, but the Niners are a team that is expected to do good too at this point. Mm-hmm. You've played yourself into a position to have pressure. He didn't look great at times last week. He didn't. He was pressured and he looked.
Playoffs a little bit different. They runs a little bit faster. Everything's going a little bit faster. Again, this 10 wins in a row. That's a big thing in general. I mean, we saw again. I'm not trying to point it out, but you saw obviously the Patriots go to the Super Bowl and lose to a Giants team that we talk about with that Giants team, how they were wild card going in, didn't really stand a chance. Went against
the Eagles. The Eagles, they were the wild card team with the backup quarterback that got hot. It's all about getting hot. So.
Yep. And we're saying every team definitely still has a chance. So I mean, if we look back,
absolutely.
And if we look back, it's gonna be it's a crazy season. I mean, it's been great seeing everybody develop. The young guys. There was somebody was telling me at work. It was just like, oh well, you got this year, and then I was like, well, what? It's just like we have a young team that's being put together by unfortunately drafts and not very much free agency that we would like, but. These guys that they have brought in have been guys that have contributed, and I think that's the biggest thing that we've been missing is just guys that contribute and that you feel their impact as soon as they come in. So, I mean, I love that that part of the season,
right.
So,
Darlene Mosher says, well, I didn't like the idea of where
they play on Monday night. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah,
it is what it is, but it was able to give us an extra day. I think that game was more important to get the initial win. Now we have some momentum, and now we have a short
week compared to the other team.
It is what it is, but I'd rather have that than have a short week in our first game, because you may never make it to the second game. So I really do. Here we go. I did. Here we go. Mark Hutchins, Eagles have never beat Prescott. Well, the Eagles, I think he's 8-3 lifetime against the Eagles. But we have a lot on our plate.
But we're talking amongst each other within the division. I think that's something I do get excited about. As much as all the trash talking, this division cannot be talked down to like they had in previous years. 3 out of the 4 teams that right now are representing the NFC are from our division. So that is definitely a great thing to see, and props to them as well too. I mean, we're all going to be sitting there, this upcoming weekend. I'm as I'm rotating around it, I like it. I love it, and again, it makes the trash talking even more when you're eliminating each other from the playoffs. So it just that adds a whole other level, doesn't it?
Yes, I do, Jeff. Yes, I do. I'll be there tomorrow. I was off for a few days.
Lazy ass.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. Nah, it's just my schedule. But yeah.
He has a lazy ass schedule.
So all in all, I'm trying to look at the game yesterday and say let's be a little negative for a second. I mean, where can we need help? I thought, we could have ran the ball a little better, but in the second half when it counted, we were able to run. So, I mean, there's not much I can complain about. I don't, Diggs maybe, he don't want to tackle, but he don't get paid to tackle. Mm-hmm. So it's like, there's not much to poo-poo, man. We had an unbelievable win. It's funny how people are coming out of the woodwork and saying, "Oh, great game, Dak." Great game. Listen, you weren't around when you were saying that he's overpaid and he choked. Orlovsky, he was backtracking today. Well,
Oh, I got to see all these. That's what I want to see. I want to see these guys.
I was able to watch it. It's sickening, but I don't mind watching them after a big win like that. But it was just nice. You could see a little bit of relief on everybody. But a shout out to I think it was Jack Meeker. He said he hopes that he bring it next week and they're not just happy. No,
exactly.
They know they're ready to go. There's no guarantees, man. You're playing a great team, but you're playing a rookie quarterback. Okay, who's never played the Dallas Cowboys. In this type of situation, with all the history and the build-up and all the interviews that are going to take place before the game and the lights, good luck. Because I don't see our defense backing down. They're going to run the ball a lot more than what we saw yesterday, because that team was inept in running this year. But the Niners, they got CMC. So I think it's really going to come down to us on offense dictating and limiting them on defense. We're in it, man. We're in the divisional rounds.
Yeah, and we'll discuss a little bit more a lot more actually on Friday when we do our cast there. But anything you want to talk about before we're breaking away? Because I think we pointed out quite a bit. I think the only people that we didn't was the people that were in the stands.
Excited. So everybody's excited. I'm going to be on a high all week. I ain't gonna lie. I'll start thinking about the Niners. I've already started thinking about them.
Yep.
But I mean, I'll really start thinking about a score and how I think it's going to play out. But
I agree, James.
Vegas helped me out a lot with James.
Now, James was saying, he goes, I think this win was a huge morale boost for the team. And it's true. Yeah. Very true.
I think that's really what it comes down to. I think Dak, he got some people off his back, but this team knows, and they're playing the team that knocked them out the year prior. So that means a lot. Our team is tougher, not the same team. We are more explosive, I think.
We drafted
but now we incorporated number 20, Pollard more.
That is the truth.
You're going to see more of that.
Penalties as well. I think that's a big thing.
Penalties. I'm excited that we're the last game on Sunday. We get to watch them all, and I think we have a better Pro Football Focus. I don't know if it was one of these. I think it was Pro Football Focus. They gave Dallas a 53% or 56% chance of winning.
So that was a couple of days ago. It was 30 something, and it was it jumped up.
Well, it's.
Well, of course, obviously,
when you play
like
that, when you play like that, you put that out there.
Thank you, Gina.
It's. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for this game, and I think that we're going to beat the 49ers.
Yeah, Rhonda, definitely, I agree. Cowboys definitely had planned well and even fooled the fans. That's true. There was there was some stuff.
They
The
did.
cornerbacks. There was a lot of things there that I did not see coming, and it was good. It was very good.
Roll the dice type, gutsy calls. That's, that's what these coaches get paid to do. I would hope that they're already looking at like James Nook says, Denver beat them, Atlanta beat them,
Unbeatable.
Kansas City beat them. Who else? There was another crappy team that beat them. But look at that film, man. Dissect that film. See what success those teams had against the Niners.
I mean, am I wrong?
More so their defense. What you got to worry about.
Didn't he almost, again, like bring up the Raiders incident because it really stuck in my mind because wasn't that a backup quarterback?
Oh, yeah.
It was a backup quarterback that almost beat them. Like they won at the very end. But it was a quarterback that just destroyed them.
Everything was on the line. It went almost to
overtime. Yeah.
Overtime?
Yep.
Yeah, it did go to overtime. Yeah. Bears. That's it, James. The Bears. Yeah, we beat the Bears, right? So, I mean,
the Bears.
They're not unbeatable.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I feel good. Enjoy the win, people, because we deserve this playoff win.
Again,
we deserve everything. These guys, it's a quick turnaround, but I think in this case, I think it's good that it's a quick turnaround. I know that your body needs to rest. They'll get enough rest. It's good that we have a short after doing what we did last night. It's good that it's a quick turnaround. Let's get them back on the field. Because they are feeling good about themselves, and I'm ready to roll.
Yep.
We're in the divisional round with a chance to play for the Super Bowl.
Yep. I love it, man. This is what we were waiting all season for.
Excited.
We get excited about it before in the beginning of the season. We're talking about this team as a playoff team. It's just what kind of shape will they be in going into the playoffs? What kind of momentum will they grab going into the playoffs? Now, if you think about that,
shit, Colts Cowboys. Oh,
what's that?
If they do that, then. If they blow them out, come on, man. You're flexing there. If they do that, then I'm going to be impressed. I just want to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a Maher field goal. Just give me a Maher field goal. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Is it too soon? Is it too soon?
It's too soon.
But anyways, I think that's pretty much. I think we talked about most of it. We'll talk about more of obviously the Cowboys going forward later on in the week. But again, enjoy this.
Have a lot to talk about.
Enjoy this victory, Cowboy Nation, and get excited about the matchups that are going forward. I mean, they've got some great games coming up this weekend, and I know we didn't have. You didn't have teams sneaking in that shouldn't be there. Like, unfortunately, Miami played a great game, but, are they going to be able to compete against Kansas City? Are they going to be able to compete against, Bengals? So, you want to be that, want to see that competition as well. So, I mean, you're seeing a lot of that within our side as well. So, yeah, a great football, especially when you're winning. You walk into work with a little, your chest a little puffed, and people are talking shit, but let them talk, man. Yeah. It doesn't change your feelings. It doesn't change the fact that your team is in the playoffs, playing for contention for the Super Bowl, like Bryan said. So enjoy it, Cowboy Nation. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Bryan?
Nah, don't forget to share and subscribe.
Yeah, I don't ever say any of
that. And don't forget to always
ring that bell. Hey, look at that, man. I think we've just figured out something. I think if you say it and then I ring the bell, it works. I like it. There you go. I'll see you guys on Friday.
All right.
A big, huge bell. A little cowbell. Right. I need a little more cowbell. All right, man.
More cowbell.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.